Hi, Cook.
He's like, yeah, my bad.
Welcome back. We're the Bourbon Junkies. He's Dan, I'm Sean. Tonight, we're going to talk about a little bit of whiskey news. A couple different topics, and, you'll figure it out.
Where are we going with it, Things happen in the whiskey world.
Yeah.
Probably more often than people think, less often than we'd want if we wanted to do a news show every week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
before we get into it, though, today's episode is sponsored by Jared Wolf.
it's not sponsored by Night Angel, that's for sure.
A little Foursquare 2007.
Oh, I'll take some of that.
12-year age ex-bourbon cask rum. This stuff's fantastic.
That's one of the best bottles of rum in here.
There's just a...
Foursquare 2007 was a special gal. All right.
Cheers to you, Sir Jared Wolf.
Thank you, buddy.
Fantastic.
Appreciate the support, man.
Oh,
Oh my gosh. Foursquare 2007 was a special time.
we need either totes of rum, or barrels of rum, or rum barrels. Anything with rum.
Might as well be a tote.
I just want to
We can barrel it.
Yeah.
Like, that's the cool part about rum.
Yeah.
What'd you do to it? Where the fuck we want it, man?
Wave save that shit.
Oh my gosh, that'd make the best rum
Wave
of all
save
time.
rum?
That would probably
Let's
make
do
my
that.
favorite rum ever. We need a tote from Foursquare. Somebody hook it up. Okay.
Okay.
Specifically has to be from Foursquare.
100% it's gotta be from Foursquare.
Okay, so listen, a lot of things have happened in the past about month. A couple big things. And so what we're gonna talk about is Heaven Hill losing power.
Yeah.
You want this?
I've not heard about this, but Dan had said that they had lost power, which apparently,
Which
big
doesn't
deal.
even sound like a big. You're like, oh, you lost power. They probably have 1,000 generators. Whatever. So I just see this
You'd
pop
like
up,
to think that.
pop up on my phone. Heaven Hill power outage causes whiskey loss. You're like, okay, sure, some, whatever.
Yeah.
They said it was just a few hundred gallons. So they lost in a short power outage.
A few hundred
A few
gallons?
hundred gallons, they said.
Of-
whiskey.
So it was like everything that was in the cooker then.
Dude, a few hundred.
Whatever was in the still.
I'm going to pull this up. A few hundred gallons of whiskey lost after power outage. The spill is being monitored, obviously.
Spill?
Yeah.
Oh.
The loss was a spill issue, apparently.
Oh, I thought it was like maybe like they couldn't get the cooker back going. So
According
everything got
to a
gross.
company spokesperson, there was a power outage at Heaven Hill Bernheim facility in Louisville around 9:45 a.m. The outage caused several alarms to go off at the building. They got an all clear around 11 a.m. No one's hurt. A few hundred gallons of whiskey were spilled, so now they can write all of that off as loss. Somebody was in there with a bucket, dumping that bucket somewhere else. Tax-free liquor.
That's tax-free
Tax-free
whiskey.
whiskey.
I thought it was gonna be a lot
Dude,
more.
it wasn't.
I thought maybe like
All their
a
fermenters.
fermenter like lost their cooling capacity
Sure.
for a while, killed all the yeast or whatever. It could have been a lot of different things. I
It
thought.
could've.
I mean, realistically, if you lose one fermenter, like how many thousands of
how
gallons
big
those
they're-
things are?
yeah.
Yeah, it is insane. But like air handlers, if there's anyone
gosh,
in the
dude.
like where the fermenters are at,
Yeah.
putting off a bunch of gas, if they lose the ability to off that
remove
CO2
that, yeah.
and someone's in there, they're dead.
What I find interesting is, when's the last time you heard of a distillery have a power outage? That created. We've heard of the collapses.
that much
and
of
shit.
loss,
Yeah.
yeah.
We've heard of collapses, like a tornado, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Like Kentucky can't even handle snow or ice.
No.
And for as often as they do get snow and ice at this point, never hear about a power outage and hundreds of gallons of whiskey lost.
Yeah, because that's a big deal for a lot of, I mean,
Yeah.
you know, Buffalo Trace, like they have their own steam generators and stuff
Yes.
on site.
Yeah.
So when those lose power, bad things happen.
Oh, their stills are all rocked.
Yeah.
Everything.
So I would imagine the infrastructure behind the bigger boys to
Yeah.
just not lose power.
I'm very intrigued by how that happens and
Yeah.
why it was catastrophic.
It was a chipmunk, 100%.
Dude, got no
into
wire.
a transformer. Just, yep.
And then there's just barbecue
It
everywhere.
arced, shot a fucking line off, and there you go.
Nothing like barbecue and whiskey. Just a squirrel. Second story
Number
on the
2.
docket today is about a month old now. Barrell Craft. Whoa, dude. Holy sham fucking moo, dude. It's not SeaWorld, okay? Jeez, oh, Pete, buddy. Okay.
Woo.
It happened about a month ago, but
Yeah.
Barrell Craft Spirits, humongous, gigantic name in the whiskey industry. Another, I believe, actually, truthfully, an entirely an NDP. I don't believe they contract distill or distill themselves at all.
Yeah, I think they just buy
By source
any
blend.
and every.
Any and every and
Yes.
all and even more than all. Like things you haven't heard of, they have it.
Every random mash bill in America, barrel owned.
They Listen, we don't know them.
No.
But we're on their media list, and they send us a lot of whiskey.
They are very, very nice.
Yes, they are.
I always talked very highly about their blending capabilities. Whoever's doing their blending, monster. A lot of the stuff, like when they put out Foundation, we're like, dude, this is cool. This is bringing a different couple mash bills together, carrying a 5-year age statement, supposed to be 100 proof, shelf product. Awesome. We were so excited for that. A lot of their
the 2024
naming
New Year
schemes, not so big.
Okay, now this is the problem. This is where it comes down. As truthfully as now, I would consider myself to actually just be a Barrell fan. Yeah. Honestly, at this point.
Yeah.
Their Amburana was probably one of the best balanced Amburanas I've ever had.
I think it was number 2 for me.
Ever?
Oh, no, actually, that was number 1 for me.
Yeah.
RD1 used to be number 1.
Yeah.
And then we had that, and that was very, very
good.
balanced. It was higher proof. I enjoyed that.
Tastes like whiskey still.
Yeah.
But all of that to say, Barrell Craft Spirits put a processing or manufacturing up for sale, like a big one, like a huge one.
They had just recently bought it for $15 million, brought in all the equipment to
Furnished
do
it.
Yeah, like it's all of the stuff for them to be an NDP and operate. So all the processing equipment to put it into a bottle, label it, package, out they go. And it was supposed to be like their next big stepping stone.
It was huge. I think it was in Louisville.
Yeah, we drove past it.
And they put that up for sale for $7-ish million.
Half. With all the equipment.
With the equipment. And then also dropped, at this point, I've heard too many different numbers. I'm gonna say an unknown amount of barrels on the market. So,
thousands.
I've heard several numbers now, and the lowest was hundreds. The highest was a lot of thousands, not like 1,000.
Yeah.
Not even like 3,000. Now, I did hear from somebody else that they didn't even own as many barrels as I had previously heard went up on market, so I don't know the real number. What we do know is they did put a bunch of barrels off market. We bought some. That's how we know. So, that being said, the reason they put barrels up on market is because they obviously are trying to get money back. They're selling a whole facility for the same reason.
For 50% off.
We did think that they were going to go under.
I 100%
it
looked like when they're selling their brand new operations with all the equipment, a bunch of barrels, which we have heard at several different numbers now, but a lot of whiskey.
I bet it's at least 1,000.
Went onto the market. So, I mean, they're just taking capital where they can get capital, even at a loss.
Yes.
So I was like, oh, they're going under. Someone is just trying to pay whatever loans they have off and get
out.
Yeah.
Now, that being said, they have continued. I love that they're basically just wind chimes for our feet at this point. It looks like now is that actually what they're doing is just probably leveling out. They're going to level out.
Orging, probably.
And then let's rip it again. Let's continue down the path. Part of what I believe to be their problem, what I think that we agree on, is that their label lines and their SKUs was a little, from a consumer standpoint, it was a little confusing, and it was very broad. You could go into a store and see a shelf full of 10 barrels and not know what the difference is.
They did do the billboard very well because they had so many different SKUs.
I know, but the problem is you didn't know any of them were.
That was the issue, is you turn it over and you're like, I still don't know what I'm getting.
It's just batch 36 or 37 or 42 or 7 or...
It's a barrel strength whiskey. I'm going to have to figure out where this is from.
Yeah.
The sourcing, the mash bill, anything like that. It was like always up in the air, no matter what.
Yes. So... Now, all that to say, some of them, especially some of the earlier batches, incredible. Like they had some really old stocks. They have really interesting stocks. They have Legacy Kentucky.
How many times did a single barrel though, pop up on Whiskey of the Year list for people? I know Fred Minnick had put them in like
He's
the
put
top
a bunch
5,
of different ones. Yeah.
And it's all like the single barrels, one-offs, and it was like, but it's that one single barrel.
So then go look for it. Well, then you go to a store and they have 3 or 4. Well, they don't. You go look at it. None of those 3 or 4 were batch 37, hypothetically. Yeah. The problem was, maybe each one of these bottles is $100 to $120. And so you're not going to buy all 5 of them to see which one was the best.
And
you're going to buy
35, 36, 37. Could be 4 different mash bills, 4 different sources, or it could be one source, 4 different mash bills. So you just never know.
Little confusion for the consumer.
Yeah.
And just mentally, that's the way I look at it. Now, that being said, the weird part was Foundation was their first non-cast strength product. They had dropped it. It's a 5-year age statement. I would assume it's got older whiskey in it. It tastes way older than 5.
It was fantastic.
Sean and I really liked this bottle. It was like $50, and it was named.
Yeah, we reviewed it so high.
Yes.
And we were so excited because we're like, this is going to be one product from Barrell.
Yeah.
They're going to be able to go out there and it's just going to be blended to flavor, so it's just going to be a continuous product. No matter where you go,
just go get another one when
it's
gone.
Barrel.
Yeah.
You're looking for just that product line.
Now, this was also a great price, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And it was titled. So when you walk into a store and see Barrel Foundation, you just know which one it is right away. It's not whatever. And then all of the news came out right after that launch, which is really interesting. Now, I hope the best for them, truly do, because their blenders grid. They have incredible stocks and sources. But we did buy 54 barrels that they put on market that were some Maryland distillate. And they were great and very easy to work with, thankfully. But what I will say is it's a bummer that you see this happening to a brand that was like this is not a small brand. This is not a you and I brand. Yeah, this is a different brand. But as a segue into like current whiskey market things, I do believe that this is part of an unfortunate trend for people who own a lot of barrels.
Yeah.
Barrell owned or does own a lot of barrels, whichever one you want to say. But they had tons of stocks. It was something that I think a lot of people knew about Barrell in the industry, is that their stock was deep. I
think that's also why they had to do so many cool, different one-off projects, is because they literally had everything.
A lot of people, now that we have Evernorth, and now that there's we kind of get like a different look to the industry side of the whole thing, except, we had we'll call it the media side, right?
And we didn't know the consumer, we had the media.
We didn't know the internal working of whiskey and distilleries and whatever, and the barrel market and brokers. What is happening is a lot of brokers and some distilleries are just putting barrels on market that I haven't ever seen on market working with any of our brokers ever. And we're getting pricing on barrels that's 2 to 3 years older, and it's the same price as the barrel we bought 8 months ago.
Yeah.
And it's because people are flooding the market with barrels right now, because they're looking for capital and they're looking to get out from under debt or out from under too many barrels.
It's a lot more of the time that a bunch of the people from Wall Street bought up a crap ton of stock.
Yeah.
And they've let it hit to a point where they go, all right, I got a good enough ROI on this, dump it in the market.
Well, yeah, I think it is trending down. Barrel prices are trending down, which is
so a lot more people are selling to get out of their holdings, which is great for us.
Thank God the barrel market is coming down.
As an NDP, that's great for us.
As consumers, everybody wonders why every bottle is $100, and then you see barrel prices and what they were 2 years ago, and you're like, oh, that's why every bottle is $100. Yeah. It makes more sense. But
because every barrel was $1 billion.
So their high price tag bottles are starting to struggle. Middle price tag bottles are slowing down supposedly on market. And then low price tags, I would imagine, probably about the same as it always is. I don't know that even fluctuates. It is like the current state of market for consumers, current barrel state for NDPs and distillers, and then just current, we're still packaging, bottling, blending, whatever, proofing down and packaging product to sell.
Yeah.
I know that we have a slightly different.
Everything?
The following's a little different.
Yeah.
And I think that it's got to be.
Scale is a little different.
Scale's very different. Yeah. We're very small.
Yeah.
And we're sitting on more contract distillation than we are aged barrel, technically now we are.
100% we are.
The contract distillation barrels, the reason we did that was set us up for the future. The contract distillation prices are very low compared to aged barrel stock prices.
Yeah, because when you buy something at 5 years plus, you can use it immediately.
You're buying time.
Whereas, that's 100%. You are just buying the time. Whereas when you buy something as a new make, you're sitting on it 4 to 5 years before you're ever going to do anything with it.
Yep. We'll never be upside down on our contract distillation. I can't imagine. The whiskey market would have to basically die for us to be upside down on it.
Please keep buying whiskey.
I do think that I've been saying it for a little while, but I think I've been saying in the next 3 years. I think that we're already there to this brand loyalty perspective.
I think we've put out several videos talking about the forecast of the whiskey market, and what we've talked about is really hitting stride right now. That it is that
way
brand
earlier
loyalty.
than I expected.
But how many times have we talked about going to a Total Wine? You walk in, you're like, there are
200
at least 100 labels I've never heard of on here in glass I've never seen before. And it's like they have 5 different SKUs. And you go, what is going on? So it goes, I can only buy so many bottles, even if they're $40.
Yeah.
You're like, all right, cool. I'm only going to buy so many $40 bottles before you go,
I got 200
I
bucks.
didn't like them.
Yep.
Now, with the way the market trended, all those $40 bottles are $80.
Yeah.
So he goes, all right, cool. I've been burned call it 6 out of 8 of the ones that I've gone into and go, I guess I'm just done.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go back to, I'm gonna buy Bardstown. I like Bardstown.
Yep.
All right, I'm gonna go buy Heaven Hill. I like Heaven Hill.
Yep.
It's whatever you want.
Yeah.
You're just gonna go live in that camp now.
Well, and this is where it comes down to the brand loyalty thing. Is something we have our community. We have you guys watching. We have you guys supporting us. You guys were supporting us before we had Evernorth or Virtue. And so ours was built backwards to most people, right? Most people start a NDP or distillery or something along those lines, and then they build their following, their community, their loyalty, whatever.
Yeah.
Ours was, we had the YouTube channel, so we had the community.
And we swindled you all.
And then we bumped over to the NDP distillery industry side of things.
Yeah.
And so ours was backwards. Ours is offset in a way in which when we release stuff, we already had the brand loyalty because you guys are fucking awesome. But I do think that we are currently hitting the stride of the brand loyalty era of whiskey. I do believe that we are hitting the point in which, because I'm like this, if I go to a store, I was like this with Blue Run. I was very, very into Blue Run for a little while there, and I was really enjoying those releases. Now, they were expensive. The value was not good or great by any means, but I did like the whiskey. So I'm like, that's cool, man.
Yeah, it's fair.
I'm still here
You're
for it,
supporting
right?
the brand that you wanted to. Yep.
Now, it didn't come down to anything except it came down to me passing on other bottles that I haven't tried that maybe I would have, that I could have afforded had I not bought 3 Blue Run bottles. Yeah. You know what I mean? I think we're all gonna do is fade into that. I know a bunch of people buying Barrel King only. I know a bunch of people buying Evernorth only. I know people buying Penelope only. You know, Barrel Picks only from their favorite content creator.
We've
or whatever,
always said
right?
Barrel Picks will be very mainstream. Yeah. Because you're getting that one-off.
You get like a unique thing.
More than likely a legacy brand that you like, or maybe you can go find that craft distillery that you're like, dude, this is wild. It's got, it can have a crazy age statement, or it's a different mash bill, and you're like, this is amazing. Single barrels, I think, will always be it.
I'd love for you guys to get away from stop enjoying single barrels. I'd love that.
Why?
I'm turning into Justin Aiden on this micro batch thing, this blending.
Oh, you want to do blends?
I do. Yeah. I think that's I was texting Jared about it, and then I texted Justin about the same thing. But I was like, that video that with Jared, the blending video, I was like, this is here to showcase each one of these people are artists. Yeah. Jared's an artist, and Justin's an artist, and Nancy's an artist. All these people who blend well. Yeah. Dixon's an artist. Yep. The Barrel's blender's incredibly. They do a great job. And they all do it different. And it's like one of these things where it's like, when you and me, I truly believe damn near anybody except Nick Jones can pick a good single barrel, right? And so,
but when you look at micro batches, it's like looking at different art styles.
It is.
Where you're like, hey, their brush stroke is a different,
paint a horse
or whatever. Yeah.
Right. We all painted the horse different.
Yeah.
Because we all went about it a different way. I just think single barrels are fun.
Mine's a stick figure. Mine's a single barrel.
Buddy.
It's rough.
Luna the other day goes, hey, let's draw a butterfly. And I go, babe, I can't. Dude, I can try. I'm going to give it my best for you, right? I draw it and she goes, that doesn't look like a butterfly. I go, no, it doesn't. We looked up YouTube videos on how to draw a butterfly. I watched kids' videos and drew kid video butterflies. Yeah. I'm a professional drawer now.
Of butterflies.
Of one thing.
One butterfly. One thing. All right, but let us know what you guys think in the comments below. Are you guys becoming more brand loyal, or are you still looking at new labels?
Or you're just not buying. Yeah. Or that's another option, truthfully. Yeah. The market, the whole world's in kind of weird. It's been in a weird space for like a year and a half.
It's
getting more weird, it feels like.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Dystopian.
What are you doing? What do you enjoy? Everybody still enjoys single barrels. We know that.
Proofs in the pudding.
That's fucking good.